A matrix is a rectangular array of numbers arranged into rows and columns. Rows are horizontal while columns are vertical. In this matrix, we have one column because columns are vertical. And this matrix will be called a column matrix because it only has one column. Now this matrix here has one row because rows are horizontal. And since there's only one row in this matrix, we call it a row matrix. So now we look at the order of a matrix. The order of a matrix is given by saying rows by columns. So here we have the example of a matrix. We have 1, 2, 3 rows and 1, 2 columns. So the order of this matrix would be 3 rows by 2 columns. So this matrix here is a 3 by 2 matrix. So in this matrix here, I have 1, 2 rows and 1, 2 columns. So the order of this matrix will be a 2 by 2 matrix. That's because we have 2 rows. Rows are horizontal, 2 rows horizontal, and 2 columns. Columns are vertical, so we have 2 columns vertical. Now if we were to look at the column matrix, we have 1 column, but horizontally we have 1, 2, 3. 3 rows and 1 column. So the order of this matrix would be a 3 by 1 matrix. So this would be a 3 by 1 matrix, meaning the order is 3 by 1. And for the row matrix, we have 1 row, but we have 1, 2, 3 columns. So this would be a 1 by 3 matrix. So now when we are looking at addition and subtraction of matrices, we can only add and subtract matrices of the same order. So that will mean if I have this 3 by 1 matrix, because we have 1, 2, 3 rows and 1 column, so this is a 3 by 1 matrix. And here we have a 1, because we have 1 row going across, and 1, 2, 3 columns, so this is a 1 by 3 matrix. So these two matrices have different orders, and therefore we cannot add these two matrices. So now in this example, we have 2 rows, 1 column. So this is a 2 by 1 matrix. And here we have the same thing, 2 rows and 1 column. So this is a 2 by 1 matrix. So the orders of these two matrices are the same. Therefore, we can add these two matrices together. So what we look at is the first position here would line up with this position here. So what we'll get is 8 plus 5. And this position down here, the -2, would line up with this 12. And we'll get -2 plus 12. So now we'll just work out that. 8 plus 5 is 13. And we have -2 plus 12, which will be 10, positive 10. And this will be your answer for adding these two matrices. So here we have two matrices of the same order. This is a 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2. So this is a 3 by 2 matrix, and this will also be a 3 by 2 matrix because we have 3 rows and 2 columns. So they have the same order, therefore we can subtract them. So we'll have the 1 line up with the -7. We'll have the -4 line up with the positive 10. We'll have this -2 lining up with this 8. We'll have this 5 line up with this -11. We'll have this 3 line up with this positive 9. And then we'll have this 6 line up with this 12. So we'll have 1 take away, and that negative sign is from here. And then we are taking away -7. So that's 1 take away -7. Then coming down, we'll have -2 take away 8. And then down here, we'll have 3 take away 9. Then coming across, we'll have -4 take away 10. Then we have 5 take away negative 11. And then we have 6 take away 12. Now in the case where you have these two negative signs together, we'll multiply them and get a positive sign. So this 1 take away negative 7 will become 1 plus 7. And likewise here, again we have the two negative signs together, so we'll multiply them and get plus sign. So we'll have 5 plus 11. So now we'll work this out. So 1 plus 7 is 8. Then we have negative 2 take away 8. So that'll give it negative 10. Then we have 3 take away 9. So that'll be negative 6. Then we have negative 4 take away 10. So that's negative 14. 5 plus 11 is 16. And 6 take away 12 is negative 6. So this here will be our answer for subtracting these two matrices. So now we're going to look at multiplication of a matrix by a scalar. So in this example here, we have the matrix A, a 2 by 2 matrix, and the matrix B, another 2 by 2 matrix, because we have 2 rows and 2 columns. Same thing here, 2 rows, 2 columns. So these two matrices have the same order. So now we want to work out what is a half A. So a half A will simply be multiplying a half by the matrix A, which is 2, 4, 8, 10. So what I'll be doing here is multiplying this half by each number in the matrix. So I'll have a half by 2, a half by 4, a half by 8, and a half by 10. So I'll write it as a half times 2, and I'll write it as 2 over 1. A half times 4, I'll write that as 4 over 1. A half times 8, I'll write that as 8 over 1. I have a half times 10, I'll write that as 10 over 1. So here these 2's will cancel. So let's get 1. Here are 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 4, 2. 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 8, 4. And here 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 10, 5. So I'll have a half A is equal to, this will give you 1, this will give you 2, this will give 4, and this will give 5. So I'll have 1, 2, 4, and 5. Now I'd like to look at another approach to working out a half times A, because multiplying by a half is the same as dividing by 2. So I have a half A is equal to, and I can have A divided by 2, because multiplying by a half is the same as dividing by 2. So that'll just be equal to 2, 8, 4, 10 divided by 2. So that'll be equal to 2 over 2, 4 over 2, 8 over 2, and 10 over 2. And that will give 1, 2, 4, and 5. So you can see that I divide each number in the matrix by 2. So 2 over 2 is 1, 4 over 2 is 2, 8 over 2 is 4, and 10 over 2 is 5. Now we look at 5 times B. So 5 times B is equal to 5 multiplied by the matrix B, which is negative 1, 5, negative 7, and 0. So I'll be taking this 5 and multiplying by each number in the matrix. So I have 5 times negative 1, 5 times 5, 5 times negative 7, and 5 times 0. So 5 times negative 1 will give you a negative 5. 5 times 5 will give 25. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. And 5 times 0 will give you 0. So now that I have the answers for half A and 5 times B, I want to work part B of this question, which is hence evaluate 5 times B plus a half A. So I'll be taking the answer for 5 times B, which is this, and adding it to a half A, which is this. So here I have my answer for 5 times B, so this is 5 times B. And here I have my answer for a half A, so this is a half A, which we worked out on this page. 5 times B and a half A. So now I'll be adding this negative 5 with this positive 1, this negative 35 with this 4, this 25 with this 2, and this 0 with this 5. So I have negative 5 plus 1, 25 plus 2, negative 35 plus 4, and 0 plus 5. So negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. 25 plus 2 is 27. Negative 35 plus 4 is negative 31. And 0 plus 5 is 5. And this is your answer for 5 times B plus a half A.